welcome to, I hope this helps, the final episode. I've entitled this episode, My Bag, What's in There? So as this is the final video in this series, I wanted to attempt to summarize in a very general way. It's really important that you keep learning and you accept that there's always someone better than you. There will be someone who's spent more time doing that thing that you're trying to do, and be okay with that. Yes, be driven. Yes, practice lots. Be the best that you can be, but don't resent anyone else for being better than you. Enjoy that fact, learn from them, share it. It's a great thing. So the title of the video, as I said, is My Bag, What's in There? And you say, well, what's Ed on about here? Your bag is it's kind of a slang musician term. It's what you can play. It's the sounds you can make. It's your sound. There's an old James Brown song, of course, Papa's Got a Brand New Bag. So what James Brown was saying, he's saying Papa's got a brand new bag. He's saying I've got a new sound that you haven't heard before. The idea is to sound like you, and usually to get there you have to imitate other people, but trying to find your sound, your bag, the things that you're good at, I think is the thing to strive for. And that's what audiences will also connect with as well. So I noticed that across these videos, there were certain things I kept mentioning again and again, dynamics, contrast, etc. So these must be things that are in my bag and things that I kind of hold dear. I also thought it fair to say that I approached these songs based on what I was good at. I very rarely spoke about singing. I just sing. I'm not trained. I'm not in a position to give you any advice on that. The guitar, however, I am trained. So most of the time I'm talking about the guitar. It's based on what's in my bag. So instead of these being specific guitar lessons, I haven't shown you how to play any of these songs. YouTube's full of that. I've just given you kind of a case study based on my experiences performing these tunes. So the tune we're going to do today is Message in a Bottle by The Police, and I'm going to do it in a characteristic Eddcarr type style based on the things I've shown you across these videos. So here's the first part. Just a castaway, an island lost at sea. Oh, another lonely day with no one here but me. Oh, more loneliness than any man could bear. Rescue me before I fall into despair. I'll send an SOS to the world. I'll send an SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets my message in a bottle. Yeah. Message in a bottle. Yeah. Okay, so normally when you hear the song, there's this riff. But I was trying to make an acoustic version of it. So what I did was I took what I thought would be the chords based on this riff. I don't really want to get into the theory of it too much. And I found some voicings. I found this one. Notice that it has B and E in it. So I had my C sharp minor. Then when I went to an A, I kept the B and E on the top. Then when I went to a B chord, I kept the B and E on the top again. I went to F sharp minor. I took the root off and I kept the B and E on the top as well. So I got this thing. So I'm making like a little melody on the top and I'm hitting 2 and 4. All things we've talked about. Just trying to get a nice, comfortable, relaxed sound and groove together. 4 chords round and round. So I've started quite quiet. This is what I've spoke about a lot. I think it's a nice platform to sing over when I get to the bridge section. Just finger picking the chords. I'm leaving lots of space. I'm not trying to play loud. I'm just introducing the different sections of the songs at quite a low dynamic. And when I get to the chorus, I think the backbeat, me slapping the guitar, comes in a bit more just to move things along. And then I resolve it, let some space, and that drops me back down to set up the next verse. Let's listen to the next verse and chorus. A year has passed since I wrote my notes. I should have known this right from the start. Only hope can keep me together. Love will mend your life, but love can break your heart. I'll send an SOS to the world. I'll send an SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets my message in a bottle. My message in a bottle, yeah. Ooh, message in a bottle, oh, oh, oh. My message in a bottle, yeah. So I basically done the same thing again, but as always I'm trying to move it up a notch. So I've got my usual verse. When I get to the bridge section, I play full chords. Instead of playing my E small, I'm adding in the bass section there. And when instead of playing F sharp and D over F sharp like that, I've got my low F sharp now. Yeah, so I've made the voicings bigger to make it louder this time. And when I get to the chorus, which was rhythmical, I've got an extra string on my guitar. That's in my bag, if you like. So I start improvising with that idea. So I've repeated what I've done, but I've added more low end in on the second time through. And because we've come up to a higher volume, in order to get back down, it's a bigger drop, if you like. So when I'm doing the, and I get to the F sharp minor, I stay there for another bar to bring the dynamic down, and then that starts me again. Okay, bigger drop in dynamics. Maybe it's a good idea to allow yourself more time if you want it to sound steady. Or you could do an abrupt thing. I wanted it to kind of slowly tail off, so it took me longer. So here's another verse and chorus. Walked out this morning, you won't believe what I saw. 100 billion bottles just washed up on the shore. It seems I'm not alone at being alone. 100 billion castaways just looking for a home. So instead of just doing the same thing again, I think, okay, let's put it into my looper. So I loop that starts again. On the record, there's this kind of bass line. And I lay something like that down. I've spoken in previous videos, I like to do a fake snare drum just on 2 and 4. So now I've got this platform, I've got this loop that's running around, it's got the chords that I was already playing. It's been thickened up with a dedicated bass line and a fake kind of snare drum, so it's got a lot more rhythm and all of the harmonic content that was already there. Now that I don't have to play, because all of that's covered, I can concentrate on the vocals, and there's a high note in there that I have to concentrate on, so it was nice to not have to worry about the guitar playing to get that high verse together. Okay, so moving on to the bridge and chorus again.
I'll send an SOS to the world. I'll send SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets my message in a bottle. Oh, ooh, message in a bottle. Oh, my message in a bottle. Yeah, message in a bottle.
So instead of picking the notes out of these chords, I start to strum, because that's basically the loudest thing you can do, is to strum big chords. The loop has bass and rhythm and chords. I need to pick up from there and keep the momentum moving forward, so that's why I'm strumming, to keep that dynamic going. And then when I get to my chorus, I loop it round and round for quite a while and start experimenting with improvising ideas both in the bass line and ad-lib singing as well. I'm pretty sure I make a mistake at both of them, but it's improvised, so that's fine. But developing what was already there, rather than the same thing 3 times in a row, I've made it different each time. So let's hear the ending.
Sending out an SOS. I'm 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 sending out an SOS.
So I'm running out of ways to present the same kind of 4-chord loop round and round and round. So what I thought I would add to finally is the famous lick. And it slots nicely on top of the chords. And then I sing the sending out an SOS thing. I sing it 4 times. And then I move up to a higher harmony and I sing that 4 times. If I was to develop this arrangement, I may look into looping my vocals. I think with a crowd, you could maybe get them to sing that refrain and improvise over it. There's a few different ways that could go. It would have been nice to loop the initial vocal and sing the harmony on top. That would have sounded pretty cool. But I chose for this version just to sing it one way and then sing it higher to show development in that way. I also start doing a little chord thing here. And I kind of stopped myself for some reason. I was liking the sound of that. I think I may develop that idea as well. But I was also conscious that I'd been playing for a long time. So I basically just shut the song down. And that's the end. So to summarize, I things I've learned about how I tend to approach songs, my bag, I seem to be a big fan of starting quiet and getting loud. That seems to be my way of approaching things. Remember, with music, there's no hard and fast rules. There are common things that we deem acceptable and we think sounds good. So that's how we approach things. I don't like to be singing my face off from the first line of the song. I like to start and make it louder and create hopefully some sort of impact. Either a small build or a big build towards the end of the song. Whatever the combination may be, I'm a big fan of starting small and getting louder. And the opposite of that, being loud and then getting very quiet, that is massively effective as well. So you'll hear me talk about contrast a lot. I think that's a big one. I've regularly included looping in my setup because it's part of what I'm comfortable doing. If you want to check back on the earlier episodes, I really go into detail about a good way to start looping and things to think about. The big one is only loop if it's going to add something. Don't loop for looping's sake. On some songs, I'll only loop just a beat. I might just do like a thump and then a snare, and then that's my loop. Sometimes all I need is just a little rhythmical help or something. Or it could be like some of the earlier episodes where I've got multiple guitar parts. It could be anything. But try and work out how it's going to help. Don't add it in there just to complicate things. Another one is I rarely use a capo. I do have one and I do use it, but it's a very small percentage of my repertoire. In the last video where I sang the song Alone, I did use one because it got me into the right key based on the voicings I was using and where I wanted open strings to sound. I can play chords from all 12 notes without a capo. So I don't need a capo to get to a certain chord. If you're at that point, please do some more practice. Ask someone who knows and they'll show you what you need to learn. So capos, I'm not against them, but I only use them for very specific reasons. Another thing in my bag is that I play a 7-string guitar. Everything I've said about adding bass lines and things you can do can be done on a 6-string. The principles are still the same. It's not, oh, Ed's playing a 7-string, therefore I can't play that. I just choose 7-string because when I'm playing by myself, I can instantly access a lower register which fills out my sound. If you want to get into it, there is technology available. There are pedals that will take the sound down by an octave. There's lots you can do. You can manipulate the sound of your 6-string guitar digitally quite easily. So your vocal range is very important. I know what mine is, and I know what types of songs I'm really good at and which ones I'm not so good at and which ones I'm awful at. And that comes from trial and error and experience. Try it first. Don't count yourself out, because sometimes I'll start singing something that I never thought would sound good and it sounds okay. What's that phrase? Don't knock it till you tried it. So be brave. Try as many different songs and as many styles as you can and see what you can get from it, because it's all good learning. From a technical point of view, knowing what your highest and lowest notes are is a very advantageous bit of information. So I hope this set of videos has given you something useful to think about in regards to your solo performances. I've tried my best to keep this jargon free and to speak in quite general terms about large topics rather than a specific guitar lesson on certain material. And after filming and editing all these, I've certainly turned the mirror on myself about how I approach songs. So it's been a very useful learning curve for me as well. So one of the best ways to improve is to listen to yourself. So record yourself, watch back. It's great when you watch something from a few months ago or a few years ago and you realize that you're better than you were. That's a really nice feeling. Okay, so regular recording, watch yourself back, critique yourself and work out specifically what you need to improve on. That's effective practice. So it's very important that you enjoy what you do. You've got to do the hard work and get the mechanical problems ironed out and all of that. But allowing yourself to enjoy it is ultimately the goal, I think. You have to hold yourself to a standard, but also if there are mistakes, you have to recover from them and move on very quickly so that you can keep enjoying it. You don't dwell on the mistakes. I really think musical instruments are a great thing to have in your life, and I kind of compare them to a very honest friend, in that if you ignore them and don't spend the time with them, next time you pick the guitar up, it will treat you mean because you won't sound very good on it because you haven't played it in such a long time. And that's on you. Okay, it's not the guitar. But if you do spend the time with a certain guitar, you get better and better on it. The guitar actually wants you to be better, and it does its part in enabling you to be the best version of you. Okay, it doesn't judge you. It's just very honest. I think it was Ray Charles that said you can't outplay the instrument. It just wants you to play your best at all times. And I think that's a cool thing. One of my old teachers referred to music as a life sentence. And I think that's one of the best descriptions, because if you enjoy it, it's such a good thing to have in your life. And you although you sometimes get upset at your guitar, you always come back to it. I certainly do anyway. Keep nurturing it and keep trying and keep practicing. It's very hard to describe the payoff that playing music gives you to someone who doesn't do it. To have something that you really enjoy and that fulfills you in a certain way is a great thing. So I hope you've enjoyed this set of videos. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Eddcarrguitar, for any future offerings from me. If you'd like one-to-one guitar tuition or music tuition, please get in touch via the email address in the comments below. For the final time, I hope this helps. Go and enjoy your music, everybody. Thank you.